The Mirror of Kronos, Episode 4.
The Purple Sun. Saturn as the forgotten luminary of the ancient sky.
What if the sun we remember is not the first sun our ancestors revered? What if, buried in myth and ritual, there lingers a memory of another light, cooler, darker, violet-haloed, a primordial luminary that once ruled the heavens? In this episode, we step into the long shadow of Kronos Saturn, the Elder King, the old star of time, the black sun of alchemy, and, in some esoteric cosmologies, the hidden sun still throned behind our day star. We will walk the arc from ancient myth to modern speculation, from the temple to the telescope, from Roman Saturdays to Germanic sagas, from occult orders to the quiet discipline of an ordinary life shaped by Saturn's law. No sensationalism, no fear. Just an unhurried journey into an archetype that has never stopped working on us. Structure through limitation, sovereignty through sobriety, illumination through shadow.
The Elder King. Why so many cultures remember a different sun?
Across Mediterranean and Near Eastern myth, the Old King is a familiar figure. Kronos to the Greeks, Saturnus to the Romans, El in certain Semitic strands, Anu or Enlil in Mesopotamian memory. He presides over a golden age, a time of ease and abundance, before being dethroned by a younger god. The pattern is eerily consistent. Elder reigns, Elder is displaced, Elder recedes to a far throne, Elder remains potent as time and boundary. Two things stand out. Saturn as the first king. The ancients aren't merely saying there was once a gloomier deity we no longer like. They're saying there was once a different order of light and a different mood in the world. Saturn as the measure of time. When the old order passes, what remains is time itself. Saturn becomes the ringmaster of chronology, the keeper of seasons, the poet of harvest and endings. The myth keeps whispering, before splendor, gravity, before spectacle form, before our sun, another light. If your life has two suns, one dazzling, one quiet, what does the quiet one illuminate that the dazzling one always washes out?
The Saturnian polar configuration, sky memory, plasma, and the purple corona.
A set of fringe but fascinating proposals associated with authors like Talbot and some electric universe interpreters suggests that ancient people might have witnessed a different sky geometry, a polar configuration where Saturn, perhaps with Venus and Mars, dominated the north celestial axis. In this vision, Saturn wasn't a distant point. It was a looming disk or haloed star seated at the world axis, wreathed in a violet aurora and circled by plasma streamers like celestial rings seen from within. Whether or not one accepts the physics, the mythic signatures are strikingly aligned. World axis imagery, axis mundi, world mountain, cosmic tree, exactly where this earlier sun would have been enthroned. Crown and rings motifs in polar myths and sacred art, from mandalas to headdresses, circles upon a central stillness. Golden Age, catastrophe, new order narratives that read like memory of a cosmic regime change. Even if we take it purely as cultural astronomy and not literal sky event, the psychic truth remains potent. There is a layer of human memory that imagines a cool, central, contemplative light ruling the pole, not a blazing day star, but a black sun whose radiance is inner. Have you ever swapped a blinding pursuit for a quiet discipline and found your world more stable? That is the Saturn move.
The Black Sun in Esotericism, Alchemy's Soul Niger and the Hidden Ray.
In alchemy, the Soul Niger, the Black Sun, marks the nigredo, the necessary darkening when the matter is dissolved, humbled, and made ready for new form. The Black Sun is not mere gloom, it's fertile darkness. The seed needs soil, the psyche needs depth. Art demands apprenticeship. The alchemical maxim is half threat, half promise. In darkness, the hidden light is born. Esoteric strands amplify this. The Black Sun is the hidden source whose energy is inward rather than outward. Instead of conferring confidence by spectacle, it confers centeredness by gravity. Instead of flattering the senses, it disciplines them. Instead of distributing attention in 1,000 bright pixels, it collects it. A brief caution. In modern history, Black Sun imagery was co-opted by certain extremist movements. Our interest here is older and deeper, alchemical, mystical, contemplative, and we reject any ideological misuse. The real Black Sun belongs to the soul's laboratory, not to politics.
Practice idea.
5 minutes, eyes closed, palms over the lower belly. Breathe down. Imagine a soft violet gold ember glowing in the dark core of you. Sit with it daily. Watch what steadies.
Saturday is the Sabbath. Witches' Sabbaths, markets, and the old lord of the day.
Language keeps secrets in plain sight. Saturday is Saturn's day, dies Saturni. Many cultures ring it with rest, rule, and review. Medieval folklore made witches' Sabbaths a Saturday thing. Church calendars often reserved Saturday to Mary, the contemplative, sorrowful, silent mother who waits between crucifixion and resurrection, a very Saturnine interval. Householders all over the world still use Saturday for chores, markets, budgets, maintenance, the humble rituals that keep life real. The pattern is ancient. You face time once a week, you step out of transaction into reckoning, out of brightness into balance, out of speed into steadiness. Call it holy, or simply call it honest. Saturday is a hinge. A simple Saturday rite. Review your week in 3 lines. What fed me, what drained me, what I'll change. Fix one small thing at home that you've been ignoring. Offer something to someone who can't repay you. This is Black Sun devotion in street clothes.
Odin, Kronos, and the Old King, northern echoes of the Saturn archetype.
In the Germanic north, we meet Odin, one-eyed, staff-bearing, master of runes, lord of ravens and gallows. He is both wizard and king, patron of ordeals, giver of wisdom that always carries a price. While Odin maps onto Mercury in some classical syncretisms, many features feel Saturnine. The ravens, like Saturn's crow in Indian iconography, scavengers and sentinels of truth. The gallows sacrifice, Odin hangs on the world tree to win the runes, structure, alphabet, law. The heaviness of knowledge, every boon from Odin carries cost and responsibility. Add to this the folkloric figure of the Old King, bearded, winter-clad, bearing law and harvest, an image that recurs in Germanic and Celtic lands. When the young gods of spring take center stage, the Old King steps back, but the village still lives on his calendar. Who is the Old King in you, the part that keeps the ledger, honors the ancestors, and says no to shortcuts? How might you listen to him without letting him calcify your joy?
Fraternitas Saturni and the Saturn-Lucifer axis, responsible contextual.
In the 20th century, certain occult orders, most famously the Fraternitas Saturni in German esotericism, explored Saturn as initiator and sometimes paired him symbolically with Lucifer as lightbringer to indicate the tension between form, Saturn, and illumination, Luciferian impulse. Stripped of sensationalism, the teaching is this: freedom without form burns out. Form without freedom ossifies. Mature initiation holds both: structure that protects the spark, and a spark bright enough to justify the structure. We treat this material carefully and ethically. It is contemplation, not cosplay. The axis teaches a sober lesson. Enlightenment that evades limits tends to grandiosity. Limits that evade light become cruelty. The middle way is vowed radiance, disciplined, useful, and kind.
Practice thought.
Where are you all spark and no container? Choose one structure, time box, budget, editorial rule to protect the light you carry.
The Mirror of Kronos. Why Saturn reflects rather than emits your glory.
The imagery of a mirror is central to Saturn's mysticism. He does not hand you light like a gift. He shows you your own light against a sober background. This is why Saturn seasons feel heavy. You are seeing yourself without filters, glamour, or excuse. In Kabbalah, Bina is understanding, the part of the tree that gives form to wisdom. Understanding is not opinion, it is your life's architecture. In Christian mysticism, the great contemplatives speak of the dark night, a stripping of consolations so that love becomes choice rather than dopamine. In Vedic tradition, Shani moves slowly through the houses, teaching patience, debt repair, dharma by practice rather than promise. Saturn is a mirror precisely because he is a teacher of law. The law doesn't flatter, it clarifies. And when you are clarified, you shine, not because Saturn lit you, but because he removed what dimmed you. If your goal is to shine, what if the next right step is not more light, but less noise?
The Purple Sun. Color, feeling, and the mood of a Saturnian illumination.
Artists and mystics often give Saturn a violet or indigo corona, a suggestion of light that is highly saturated yet low in glare. It's the palette of cathedrals at dusk, of night-blooming flowers, of deep water. The emotional weather of a Saturn illumination is calm instead of hype, longevity instead of novelty, gravitas instead of gossip, kindness that doesn't collapse into enabling. Imagine a sun whose gift is not visibility, but viability, the capacity to keep going, to keep commitments, to keep faith. That sun feels purple. It is not the first light that dazzles, it is the last light that remains. Experiment. For 1 week, reduce ambient light in your evening hours. Use soft, warm lamps. Play low, sustained music. Watch how your thoughts lengthen. This is a small ritual of the purple sun.
Saturn as personal practice. Building temples of time.
If the black sun is a teacher, how do we study? Weekly rhythm, Saturday anchored. Audit your week, 3 lines as above. Amend one thing you can repair. Apology, invoice, drawer, promise. Advance one long project by a boring but necessary task. Alms, give something away. Money if you can, attention if you can't. Monthly rite, new moon or the first Saturday. Choose a vow small enough to be kept. Bedtime, water, pages written, daily walk. Write it by hand on a card, sign it, place it somewhere ordinary, fridge, wallet. At month's end, don't judge, measure, renew or revise. Yearly write, your birth month or winter. Sit with a calendar and plot your Saturn. What will you do that still matters in 20 years? Put one habit on the calendar that points you there, only one, then protect it. This is not glamorous, that's the point. Saturn trains sovereignty, not audience capture.
The dethroned solar archetype, from center stage to foundation stone.
Why does Saturn often feel like loss? Because his myth is dethronement. Kronos is replaced by Zeus. The old light yields to the new. In our lives, this is the moment a project hands the spotlight to its systems. A romance becomes a home, a calling becomes a calendar. We grieve the blaze, we receive the hearth. The wisdom here is clean. Every shining season must become bearing. If it never does, it will burn the very thing it sought to warm. Saturn is the grace that turns fire into architecture. Where are you still trying to be the sun when you are meant to be the stone, the base that keeps everyone else safe to shine?
A note on doubt, science, and symbol.
Some of what we explored, the polar configuration, the purple sun, sits at the edges of scholarship. Treat it as mythic speculation that might encode old sky perceptions, or as psychic truth about how humans metabolize change. Either way, the archetype is reliably useful. You can live Saturn's lesson without buying any cosmological hypothesis. Limits shape brilliance. Time is pedagogy. Vows make power safe.
Bringing it home, a 7-sentence litany to the black sun.
You are the elder light that keeps my younger fires from burning my house down. You teach me that love arrives as appointments, not epiphanies. You count the cost so my gifts can afford to be generous. You turn my apologies into repairs. You return my attention from spectacle to service. You hide me long enough to make me real. You sit at the pole and keep the sky from closing. Say it on a Saturday, then do the next honest thing.
Final thoughts, the hidden sun and the freedom of form.
Saturn is the mirror of Kronos because he shows us a truth we often forget. Form is not the enemy of freedom, it is its instrument. The cage is not the ring of rules. The cage is the fear of rules. When you step through the black gate, when you accept time as ally, vows as vessels, limits as guardians, an unexpected thing happens. The world does not shrink, it stabilizes. You discover that the most mystical feeling on earth is not ecstasy, it is trustworthiness. And from that trust, joy returns, cleaner, quieter, longer. The purple sun never stopped shining. It was never out there. It was always your core, waiting for you to commit to a shape that could carry light across years. If this journey clarified something in you, like the video so others can find it. Subscribe to Positive Vortex and turn on the bell so the next episode arrives right on time. Share this with someone building a life brick by honest brick. If you want to help us keep these long-form, ad-light explorations flowing, click thanks or join to support the channel. Until next time, honor the boundary, keep the vow, and let the hidden sun do its slow, patient work.